Alright, and so for printing lists, all you have to do is just say print and then parentheses and then the name of the list. So when you print a list in Python, the output would be the brackets with the commas separating all the elements. So, and if you don't want the brackets and the commas to be printed in the console, you can just say you can just say print the name of the list with an asterisk before, and that will remove like the brackets and the commas. So an index for each value is just kind of its position in the list. But unlike what you would expect in Python, the index for the first element is 0, and then the index of the second element is 1. So and that just increases every time. So the index of the last value would just be the length of the list minus 1. And a value in a list can also be accessed or changed based off the index. So the syntax for that is you just need the name of the list, then have square brackets, and then the index. And to access the value, you can, so here I have list equals 1, 2, 3, and then if you print list square bracket 1, that will print 2 because 1 is the index of 2, because the index of the first one is 0, and then the index of the second value would be 1. And then you can also change values in a list by just saying what you want to change with the list. So like list 0 plus equals 3, that just adds 3 to the first element in the list. So if you print it again, you would have 4, 3, 2, 3, because you've just added 3 to the first one. Okay, so now here are some like functions and methods that you can use on a list. So length, to get the length of a list, you just need to say len parentheses list. And this will return the number of elements that you currently have inside that list. .append x, it will add the element x to the end of a list. Insert will insert the value x at the index I. And since you've inserted that value, all the values after the position where you inserted that value will get, the indexes for those values will get pushed back by 1. For remove x, it will remove the first occurrence of x in the list, and since you removed that value, it will push the indexes of all the values after forward by 1. Pop will just remove an element based off the index you provided, and if you don't put a parameter for .pop, it will just remove the last element, and then it will also return the value that was removed. Alright, so like if you want to loop through, so like suppose you want to change every value in the list. So if you look at this, if you look here, I want to add 1 to all these, to every number in this list. But if you look at this, this is a little repetitive, and it won't work if the length of your list isn't a constant. So to solve this, you could use a for loop. So this for loop, what it will do, it will loop through every index. So if you say for I in range, length of the list, it will loop through the values 0, 1, and 2. And then you can just say list square brackets I plus equals 1, and this will add 1 to every value inside this list. Okay, and now like we can do some practice problems. So what is the output of the following code segment? So here I probably just have the students try them on their own and then like see what they get, and then after every student has their answer, we'll go over the answer. So first you have items, which is just an empty list. After the first step, you append apple. So you have one value inside the list, that's apple. After that, you append banana. So you have apple and banana inside that list. And after that, you insert orange at index 1. So the original value at index 1 was banana, but now since orange is at index 1 now, the banana index gets pushed back by 1. And then items.remove banana will just remove the first occurrence of banana, which is just the one at index 2. And then it will print items, so it will just print apple and orange, and then printing the list of items, which is just 2. So that's the output. And this is the second practice problem. So we have nums equals 1, 2, 3, and 4. So nums equals 1, 2, 3, and 4. Nums.pop, because there's no parameter provided, it will just pop out the last value, which is just 4. So you're left with 1, 2, and 3. Nums.remove at index 2, it will remove the 2, which is at index 1, and what is left is 1 and 3. Nums.insert 1, 5, it will insert the number 5 at index 1. So you're left with 1, 5, and 3. And then nums.append 6 will just add 6 to the end of the list. And then print nums will print 1, 5, 3, and 6. And then print the length of the nums will print 4, because there's 4 elements inside this list right now. So that's the output. And this is just another practice problem. You have list with 3, 6, 6, 2, 4, and then you have a for loop. So that's for I and range the length of the list. And then you have list square brackets I plus equals I. So what this is doing is it's looping through all the indexes for this list, and then it's adding the index to the value inside the list. So for example, we start with 3, 6, 6, 2, 4. On the first loop, we have I is equal to 0. So 0 is added to 3. On the second loop, I is 1, so 1 is added to 6, and that's 7. So, and then 2 is added to 6, which is 8. 3 is added to 2, which is 5. And then 4 is added to 4, which is just 8. So that's your new list after that. And then list.append 10 will just add 10 to the end of the list. And then .remove 8, it will remove the first occurrence of the number 8. So you're left with 3, 7, 5, 8, and 10. And then you print the list and the length. So it's 3, 7, 5, 8, and 10, and the length is just 5. Alright.
Well, I should have said this to everyone, but for them, they don't have their curriculum yet, because we're getting it from, we have a specific curriculum we're following from CACA, right? But they don't actually have it yet. So right now they're just explaining a specific topic of interest. Yeah. So the timing is like, we'll have a different timing.
Yeah, so I think perhaps you need more picture, more graph, and for the kids, yeah. And second, you need interactive teaching, ask more questions for the kids, yeah.
I think
you can ask them.
Ask more questions. I think when you're covering the practice problems, you could have them work together in a group to try to solve it first and things.
Yeah.
So like, you would say like, can anyone tell me the first step to solve this problem? Or like I like the graph where you have all the steps, but like maybe try to have them come up with the graph and then put it on the card.
Yeah, perhaps you need more steps to confirm the student understand your materials. Yeah, like that.
Yeah, like after a big point or after you finish one part, you gotta pause a bit and have them sort of take it in.
Or you could like move the practice, like instead of having all 3 at the end, you could use the practice problems as like a break in between and do like one after you finish a topic, and then have them work too.
And also whenever you use like vocabulary that you taught them earlier, like let's say you're talking about lists, right? And then you're talking about an index, and if they don't, I don't know, it's gonna depend on what kind of entry-level coding knowledge that they have, right? But as they're going in, if they don't understand vocabulary, because when you're talking, you end up list, index, when you say range, when you say len, and etc. Just make sure that they understand what you're talking about by reiterating like something that you recently taught them within, instead of just like going through everything as quickly as possible, right? Just make sure that they really understand, because you know that they're not gonna absorb the information as quickly. Depending on how new they are to coding, they also might not understand like all the syntax and everything. It's gonna be overwhelming for them, so just make sure that.
Wait, it'll be fine because the curriculum that Charlie's gonna give you, I think it'll have like all the stuff you need to teach them in class. Like that's what I did last year. So.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a lot.
The curriculum is
Yeah.
based off like you have previous knowledge of Python 100 and then
Okay.